Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Ferrum Football First and 10. I'm your host, Jordan Mann, and with me I have a handful of guests now, running back Brian Mann, defensive tackle Montel and head coach Rob Grande. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing all right. We had to make the set look a little better, so I had to go recruit a couple better looking people than you and I, George.
Yeah. Coming off of a big turnaround season for the Panthers, Ferrum in 2015 was 2-8, and they come finishing this season 6-4. And beside me, Mann had 5.6 yards per carry, 1,453 rushing yards, 14 TDs, and he averaged 35 yards kick return, 8th in the nation too in rushing yards. So that's a big deal for a freshman too. And for Montel, he just stuffed the stat sheet on the defensive side. He had 31 total tackles, but over half of them, 16.5 were for a loss, 9.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. And so with all three of y'all here and the accolades to show for it for both of you, I just would like to know, what were y'all's pregame rituals? Brian, start with you.
Well, every Saturday we have our offensive meetings with a whole offensive group. And after we're done with that, usually go get taped, and then I go to my locker and just listen to music and just get ready for the game.
What about you, Montel?
Same thing. I usually go upstairs over there where all the little Hall of Fame players at, and I just usually just sit right there and listen to music to the game.
What about you, Coach?
Well, don't listen to the same music, I doubt, but there's, home we do have recruits that we brought in home games, and that keeps you pretty busy. And whatever I can do not to make, that drag to 1 o'clock if it's a typical kickoff too long, because that makes you miserable. And we try to just stay focused on what we need to do, and everybody's got a little bit different. So I try to give the players some time because they uniquely get ready in different ways too. So these guys did a good job week in and week out getting ready, obviously.
Yeah, and speaking of the first win of the season, I mean, it had to be a thriller for both you and Mann. It's weird for me to say, like, my last name's also Mann, no relation. But with Brian's first game of his career, your first as a head coach, tell me, what were you feeling before the game, the jitters, and then after the game? And Montel, you can give me your after-game thoughts too. Come from behind, win late with a big kickoff return to set it up.
Yeah, well, regardless of who it was, that game's...
And it was Henry where you came from. So
yes, there's a lot of story behind
circle.
it, but really didn't make that the game. It was about our players, playing hard, and but certainly the elephant in the room was where I came from, and being the opening game was a pretty unique situation. And to go down and to kind of have to battle back, and then how that second half played out, something I told the players, regardless of who had a horse in the race, you're not going to see something like that or experience something like that every week. And it was great for Ferrum football, the fans, certainly our players, and personally it was a great way to start the season.
What about you, Brian?
I didn't really know what to think going into the game. The pace of the game was definitely way different than high school, but it was just a thriller to the end. It was definitely something I wasn't expecting for my first college game, and it was something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting atmosphere. And Montel, with you being the returner from the 2-8 team a year ago, how does it feel to show improvement in the win column going 6-4 this year?
It feels great. Coach Mann came over and did a really good job with us this year. He believed us from day one. We believed in him. And that's the main point about it, just believing in one another, and that's what we did this season.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun going to practice when you're winning than losing. I can account for that too. And I know the process that you went through from my experiences here as well. So, I mean, like I said, it's hats off to y'all. And I also want to touch base. When y'all went to LaGrange, you also had the number 5 offense. Y'all held them to 20 points, and you had a career game with 254 rushing yards. I'll start with you first with the ball in your hands. How did it feel going into LaGrange? First off, that trip, that's always a long bus ride. How did it feel to finally hit the ground and start playing?
My legs were a little tight coming off that bus. I think it was like 13 hours, 12 hours, something like that.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
It was. But just coming in, I just got focused, and it was a total group effort. The offensive line did their part, the tight ends, fullbacks, wide receivers. Everybody just did our part and came to play.
What about you, Montel?
Like Coach Grande said, it was simple to keep their offense off the field. Our offense did a real good job of holding the ball the whole entire game, and we knew if we kept their offense off the field, and we'll win the ball game.
how sweet was it to have the walkthrough at the Atlanta Falcons?
Man, it was an experience of a lifetime.
I bet. I had no idea until I saw Ferrum Football posted on Twitter. And then, how'd you like it?
Oh, it was crazy. I don't think anyone knew about it, and we just started seeing Falcon stuff everywhere, and next thing you know, we're practicing, and it was crazy.
And it was a connection with you and head coach Dan Quinn, correct?
Yeah, we played together in college. He was a year behind me, and had a chance to reach out to him while he came to Atlanta 2 years ago. And I think it was April or May. I was looking at scheduling our trips, and shot a call out to him, in his downtime, and just kind of culminated and worked out. And I think it was a great place to stop, heading down on the other side of Atlanta, and the experience for the kids, and kind of kept it in the bag, so it kind of be a little bit of a surprise. And I think they all appreciated the effort, and paid off on Saturday and went out and got a win. So
yeah,
that's always the benefit.
We always think it's a good idea. Coach Tharp talks about when we go to like Atlanta, or if we played in DC or something, we might catch an NBA game, but actually practice in a professional facility. I mean, that just has to be really cool. And last question for all three: what would you say the biggest win of the season was? Not just for the team, but for like you emotionally, like maybe you against Emory Henry, whether you want to play it off or not, or to like at LaGrange, or I'll start with you first, Coach.
I really thought the Hampton-Sydney game was a bigger turning point. Obviously the Emory game start opening, the way it ended was a fantastic opener, and we stubbed our toe going up to Shenandoah, and just really loved. That's the one game that still eats at me a little bit in terms of how we played and everything I've questioned myself on. But then to turn around and go up to Salem against a team, I told the players, I said, there's the conversation of college football at our level in the state, kind of starts with Hampton-Sydney, and to go in there and play well was an impact. And at halftime, we were up by 1, and I told them, I said, y'all don't even realize you're about to blow this team out. And they went out and did it. And I think that really signified going into our bye week and into conference, the confidence that I felt our team needed to know, we're a good football team. People are going to have to play hard and play well to beat us.
Yeah, that was 21-20 at half, and the final score was 42-20.
Yeah, the defense held them to 25 yards of total offense, which I don't think's ever happened in the Favre era. And Montel had a monster game, was the D3 team of the week, and broke a school record with 4 sacks, and did a great job with the rest of the defense to control, their offense. And then offensively, I think both Brian and Harvey went over 100 yards that day, and made big plays. Chris had a big chunk touchdown, put us up by 1, and it was just really that game going into the bye week. It's always good because you got 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
you finished 2-1 non-conference, heading into conference play was thought a monumental win for our team.
Yeah, I appreciate that win a lot too, because my little brother, he plays soccer at Hampton-Sydney, so I was giving him texts because we had a little rivalry going on. But Montel, what about you?
I would say they haven't seen the game just because it showed how dominant our team can be in years to come. Our defense played great, and our offense played outstanding in the second half, and I feel like that game showed what type of team that we can be.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, defensive line throughout the season was very consistent and causing havoc and winning the line of scrimmage.
Well, on that point, the guy next to me made a huge sacrifice and moved inside. A lot of people don't know. I mean, he was a primary DN.
Yeah.
When we got here in the spring, through the spring, talked to him about moving down inside, and you're going to get more double teams, you're going to get more attention. Your numbers may not reflect personally what they've been, but as a team, him moving into our anchor position reduced our points against by 17. And we'd watch film the next day, and teams changed their blocking schemes because he was in the middle. And and I know the coaches recognized with Player of the Year, and that wouldn't have happened without him being unselfish and making that transition for the team, and did a great job.
Yeah, 9.5 sacks for a defensive tackle speaks volumes, because that is really hard to do. And you had 10 the year before at defensive end, so I mean, you're right there at it, playing a lot harder position. What about you, Brian? What was the biggest win of the season for you?
I believe it was the Emory and Henry game.
Being your first career game?
Yeah, and I think it really set the tone for the rest of the year. I think after that game, all the guys on the team started believing in each other, and we just had that no-quit mentality. We always told everybody, next play, next play. If something goes wrong, just next play. I think that really just set the tone for the season, and we just rolled.
Well, looking ahead to next season, both of them are returning. Brian being the Rookie of the Year for the USA South, and then Montel being the Defensive Player of the Year. It's exciting times for Ferrum football, and Coach Grande and I will touch base in the spring, and we'll let the viewers know back home when we'll have a show ready for you. But as the series finale as of now, for Ferrum Football First and 10 with Jordan Mann, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in this season. Until next year.